Welcome to the Deal Finder Corner. So this is your weekly property talk show brought to you by Property Filter, hosted by myself, Guillaume Black, the CEO and co-founder at Property Filter. It's the UK's highest rated platform to find deals, and we're on a mission to empower our property investor and deal sourcer members to find another 1,000 deals this year, thanks to the Property Filter blueprint. And the purpose really with this Deal Finder Corner is to give you more and the best of the available resources, tactics and secrets about what actually works right now in terms of finding and making deals and the reality of systemizing and running a high performance business in property. So it really is my pleasure to introduce you to my good friend Hav Singh. So Hav is a multi-award winning agent based in South London, 12 years of experience in selling properties, brokering, creating deals, investing in property for himself, and he's been running multiple businesses. He is the CEO and co-founder at SiteFinder. It's the marketplace you all need, to buy and sell your ready-made deals. So this session is really going to be crucial for anyone looking at operating confidently and legally in the property market as a sourcer. I'm really happy we got Hav in today's Deal Finder Corner today. So what we can explain from today's episode. So we're going to cover compliance requirements, understanding what's required from a legal perspective, the timing of compliance, so defining when you need to be compliant, at what point in your operation. And there's lots of myths basically that I look forward to have to bust today. And then they're going to talk about the compliance solution, how they can help you get compliant and things like that. There's lots of solutions out there. And then this is really one I think they are doing it right in a proper way from what I understand. So please join me and give a massive Property Filter virtual welcome for Mr. Hav Singh.
Always a pleasure to be on a presentation with you. Right. Hi, everyone. My name is Hav, and I'm just looking down the list of people here. I know a fair few of you know who I am. I can see a couple of people who have done deals with us as well, so that's always good. For those of you who don't know, my name is Hav. Obviously, I'm the guy in the middle of that picture. The person on the right is my wife and partner, the other co-founder and life partner and senior management, I suppose you call her, Reshma, and she does a lot of these presentations normally, but she didn't want to talk about compliance. So I've got that part of the stick on this, and let's just crack on with it. I know I fully understand, guys, that compliance can be quite a boring subject, and I want to just try and change that today, because it doesn't need to be all that bad. And what I'm going to promise to you today is, by the end of this presentation, you will understand how to become fully compliant as an independent deal sourcer. Okay. And I've underlined independent deal sourcer because you're not going to be co-sourcing with us exclusively. You're not going to be under our company as an umbrella or anything like this, because there's other solutions for that. I'm actually going to show you how to become a fully compliant deal sourcer using the systems that we've set up and how long it's taken us to set up. And it will only take you, are you ready? 20 minutes of your time. Can you believe that? It's actually crazy. So let me crack on with this. That's what you're going to get at the end of this. It's only going to take me about 20 to 25 minutes. And I'm going to go through what you need to understand about compliance, why it's so important, and the solution we've done, and actually the entire reason for this entire thing. Because as you guys know, or you may not know, SiteFinder is a platform to actually sell deals. We're a platform where we work with deal sources up and down the country, and we sell those deals to investors up and down the country. And we pay the deal sources. That's what we do. So you may be thinking, why are we talking about compliance right now? It will all make sense in the next 10 or so minutes. What is compliance for deal sources? Okay. And I'm going to go through this as purely as fact and figures. Okay. I'm not going to talk about any fluffy stuff, any horror stories. There's other people doing that. I'm not interested in any of that stuff. What I'm interested in is you guys getting compliant quickly and legally so you guys can sell deals properly. So this is what's required for you to become compliant. And I think you guys are going to get copies of all this, so you can write notes or you can take a photo, but you're going to get this copy anyway. So you have to register for the anti-money laundering supervision. Okay. And I'm going to explain what all of this is. The reason I put that at the top there, actually, it's the last thing you have to do in this entire process. And everything else that's going to come after it is to get you registered on that supervision. So part of that is you have to have training. Okay, and it's very specific training for deal sourcing and estate agency, and that when you register for the AMLS, anti-money laundering supervision, they want to know who are you training with and when did you last train, and have you got a certificate to show that it's required. You need to create anti-money laundering AML procedures, policies, and documents. If you don't know what policies and procedures means, if you don't know what that means, I'll quickly explain it to you. A policy is it's how your business in your specific industry is going to deal with certain factors that happen within that business. Okay, so you have to have all of these different things. You have to think about it, write it down, work out what all of these policies could be in regards to money laundering. Okay, specifically with money laundering, because we're trying to help stop that. And that's your policy. And then your procedure is another document explaining how you actually do that. Okay, does that make sense? So an example of that could be, and this is, I'm telling you this from experience because we've been audited 3 times now, and this has been asked every single time. How do you report suspicious activity? Okay, and you need to know that answer. Not only do you need to know the answer, you don't need to know off the top of your head, you need to be able to pull it up in your pack, in your paperwork quickly, but you need to be able to tell the HMRC, and they ask you this on the phone, by the way, you need to be able to tell them this is the exact step-by-step process, and then you need to send that to the HMRC for them to check that you've all got everything in the right order. And AML, money laundering, is the biggest issue with all this compliance stuff. Okay, and that makes sense because there's a lot of money involved. It's very easy. It's not easy, but it's easier for people to launder money through property. Let me explain what money laundering is in a very basic way, so everyone understands what's going on and why we need to help stop money laundering and why we are responsible for it as agents. An example of money laundering could be, if there are, let's say in the country, there are, as we know, a lot of drug lords, okay? They are getting a lot of cash in from what they're doing from their sales. They need a way to clean this money, okay? And property, especially with small businesses, is a really easy way to do that, because what they can do is go and buy a property with cash through a deal sourcer, buy property with cash who hasn't done the checks, and then put a fake tenant in there, say it's rented, and put their own money, create an AST, create a tenancy, put their own money through the property, and now it's clean. Now it's in the system, and the money's just come straight back to them. Okay, so they've cleaned money through the system, through property, and it's our responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen, or at least do as much as we can to stop that from happening. And we do that by having checks and procedures and policies in place. That's what the HMRC want to see, and that's why we have an anti-money laundering supervision policy in place. So it's just something that we have to do. Unfortunately, the HMRC can't do that for everyone because we're the ones dealing with the sellers and the buyers. You need to understand GDPR rules and regulations, which is fine. Most of us know about that. CDD, or other people say KYC, it's customer due diligence forms. Okay, so you need one for the buyer, you'll need one for the seller, and you have to do one on each transaction. You have to fill out these forms, and you have to have that documented and kept safe, because it could happen 6 months down the line if you're going through a deal and it's taken 6 months to get through it. HMRC will want to see that your progression of your due diligence, and they want to see when you started that. It's important as to when you start those documents. Risk assessments, policies, and procedures. All of this is within the policies and documents of your business, okay? I know it sounds boring, and this is why we have a solution for you, okay? It's important, it's legal, it's law. You have to have it. There's no way getting around it. If you are trading as a deal sourcer or an agent, you have to have these things in place, okay? Another thing you have to have is PI insurance for deal sources. It's ever so slightly different. It's not much different, but it is slightly different to a estate agency. It has everything that a estate agency has in it, plus a bit more. And not many brokers know that. Okay, so they don't really understand it. So what happens is a lot of people go and get the wrong insurance, and it has bitten a few people in the past. But I promise you, I'm not going to talk about horror stories today. That's not what I'm here for. You have to register to a redress scheme. There's 2 of those. the TPO and the PRS. The PRS is probably a bit more popular. Okay, so if you don't know what a property redress scheme is, a redress scheme, when someone complains about your business, and in our industry, it will more than likely be the investor who's complaining about something that you've done. You haven't described the property correctly, or you misrepresented something. There has to be an external body to where they can make those complaints. Okay, we have to have that. That's just, again, law. And there's only two to choose from in the country. You will have to use those redress schemes after you have exhausted your internal complaints procedure. Okay, so you have to have made your internal complaints procedure, display that on your website. You have to actually do that, and or send it in your emails, and go through that process first. If there's a complaint, there will be a complaint at some point, trust me. And if that can't be resolved from within your company, it has to then, they can then go to the redress scheme, say, look, I've tried the complaints procedure. Here's their complaints procedure. Didn't work out. I need some help. I need compensation. And then they will go through the process of doing that. Okay, so it's another requirement that's needed. And while I'm talking about this is actually not the actual order you have to do things in. There is a specific order that things have to happen. For example, you can't sign up to the redress scheme until you have insurance, and you can't do any of this. You can't sign up to the AMLS. You can register until you've done all of this other stuff. You have to register with the ICO, which is the Information Commissioner's Office. We're handling data from multiple data points, buyer, seller, property, all sensitive stuff. So they obviously need to know that, and we need to tell them that we are handling this data. And the last thing is, which most of you may have already, is a government gateway account. That's very simple, it's very straightforward. Most of you may have that if you've got kids and you've applied for some sort of funding, or if you've done self-assessment tax, you'll have a government gateway account. And all of this stuff is all on separate websites. It's all in separate bits and pieces. You've got separate policies to read and separate documents, separate things you have to understand and register for. Just the AML supervision form is 6 parts, I think 6 or 7 parts. And that takes you about 45 minutes to almost to an hour to fill out in one go. Yeah, that's not if you come back to it. So, and then obviously the insurers, you've got to talk to various brokers. So the point is here, it's a lot of things you've got to do all over the place, and you've got to get it in the right order. It's just a bit of a painful process. It's not something that many people want to go to. And this is the reason why we thought about making this product. One of the reasons, to help streamline this process, excuse me, and remove this pain for having to get through compliance, and sometimes the worry of going through compliance. It's not really a problem. And I speak to a lot of people, like the day before yesterday, I spoke to a lady. It was quite late, and she said, I just want to earn some, I've got this deal for you. Can you sell it? And she'd already gone and stacked the deal and done all the due diligence and done everything, and pretty much done everything as a deal sourcer. And she said, can you just sell this deal for me? And I said, no. And I'll tell you why. Because I asked her, are you compliant? And she said, no. What I want to do is I want to earn some money first, spend that money on getting compliant, and then it will all be good. And I said to her, okay, that in your head, that makes sense. I get that. Let's earn some money first, then spend some, but it doesn't make sense to the law or to HMRC or on paper. Okay. And I do get it. Like, earn some money. The problem is you want to earn some money, get compliant, but you can't earn some money until you're compliant. So you're just going in a circle in your head. But I'm just going to tell you straight out, you cannot stack a deal. You cannot talk to investors in the hope, or estate agents in the hope to sell a property to someone else without being compliant. You just can't do it. It's the law. Okay. That's all it is. There's no gray line. There's no what if and what is this and what's a lead. So I'll tell you what, so where people get confused actually is passing on leads. Okay, now a lead is quite literally a name and a number with confirmation from that vendor that someone else is going to call them to negotiate the deal. That's cool. You can do that. You can pass on leads to other people, but you can't try and negotiate that deal on behalf of someone else for another investor. Then you are getting into estate agency services. So it's illegal to trade without becoming compliant, and the HMRC will be on your back as soon as money is in your account. I do get the feeling it's a little hard to understand this for a few people because it's not easy to relate to it. So I thought of a way to relate to this, okay? And I think everyone here can relate to this. When you buy a car, you go to a dealer, right? And you say to them, okay, I want to buy this car. Cool, the transaction happens, all good. You pay for the car. Now, you can't just drive that car home, okay? You can't drive on the road without what? Insurance, tax, and that car has to have an MOT. Those are the compliance factors for driving a car on our roads in the UK. You can't drive without insurance, and I can probably bet no one in this group has done that. You shouldn't be driving a car without insurance on the road. You can't drive a car without tax on the road. In the exact same thing, you can't trade without having insurance in property. It's the same thing. Insurance is one of those compliance factors. Okay, and you might think to yourself, well, you know what? I can just go and drive a car for I don't think anyone would ever think this. But maybe there is someone that would think, you know what? Let me go and drive a car for a year and see what happens without insurance and tax. And if I get caught, then I'll just pay for it at the time. It doesn't happen. You just can't do it, right? It's not something that goes into your head, and that needs to be understood. You can't be in this industry without being compliant. And the other thing is, because there is so much noise about this at the moment, and actually the HMRC, how much noise there is, the HMRC under estate agency services on their website, on the Gov website, have actually listed property finding as a term as to what counts as estate agency services, because we are all regulated under the estate agency banner. So now they should have actually just written deal sourcing, to be honest, but property finding, it all comes under the same thing. So everyone is aware, trainers are aware, educators are aware, there's other associations and other people scaring the daylights out of people. Investors are all becoming aware, and they want to know that they are putting their money, or they're dealing with compliant professional deal sources. And until you're compliant, you can't call yourself a deal sourcer. You're just an introducer or just a person. So, and that sort of brings me nicely onto what it actually means to be compliant. So it's quite interesting and the guys, anyone who's compliant in this group might resonate with this feeling, but it's quite interesting. When you get compliant, you kind of have this feeling of like relief almost. You have like almost like a kind of mini shield around you, because you're being protected from all these things, because you've done it, you've gone through the process, and you've actually become compliant. You can now say, I'm compliant. You can put it, I'm a professional deal sourcer. I'm a compliant deal sourcer. And anyone you say that to is going to just instantly take you seriously. But it doesn't mean you can't just fill out these forms and get compliant and then just stop. Unfortunately, that's just not how it works, because things are always changing. So we have to adhere to the rules and regulations of the Estate Agency Act, which was made like a million years ago. We have to understand the procedures and policies from within your company when you get asked about it, and you will get asked about it at some point from the HMRC. Any money coming into your account that's related to property in any form, the HMRC are interested in you as a business. And you've got to keep your documents and memberships up to date at all times. The rules and regulations change. That means you need to keep an eye on all the relevant places where they update their terms and conditions and the laws and the regulations and the policies, and update your own documents. So it's a lot of admin. It does take a lot of time, but actually in reality, guys, compliance is actually a good thing. I don't want you to think compliance is a bad thing. It's a good thing. We're cleaning up. The whole point of this is to clean up the sector, right? Deal sources are slowly and kind of are getting have a bad name, kind of similar to estate agents maybe. And that's mostly come from non-compliant deal sources who are just trying to make a quick buck and sort of scam someone. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to make a lot of money above the law in a legitimate way in property by helping everyone. And then when you get compliant, You, like I said, you can actually operate legally as a deal sourcer, as a professional deal sourcer. You can actually say, I'm a deal sourcer, I'm a deal maker, or I'm a property entrepreneur. I'm buying and selling deals. I'm selling some, I'm buying some. You can do all of that stuff and you don't have to worry about it. You can negotiate with sellers and estate agents. This is a point that I know I'm going to get asked in the Q&A later on. Someone said to me, if I'm just talking to an estate agent about a property that they have, do I still need to be compliant? The answer in very plain English is yes, 100% you have to be compliant, because deal sources are estate agents. Estate agents are deal sources. It's exactly the same thing. There's no difference between, the only difference really in reality is that most estate agents have an office. They have a high street office, and most deal sources when they're starting out are starting from home or from like a serviced office where you're not in a shop front, right? That's the only difference. If you think about it, an estate agent is sitting in the office trying to sell deals. It's just they're not really below market value or BRR. They're just normal residential properties. They call them properties, we call them deals. So yes, you have to be compliant in order to sell a deal alongside another estate agent. You're co-sourcing. That's what you're doing. You're co-sourcing. And like I said earlier, when you get compliant, you're trusted almost instantly by investors, and you should shout it out. I'm a compliant deal sourcer. I'm compliant. I've been through it, and I'm done. And I'm keeping up with my regulations. And you know that's I'm doing this properly. So you're wondering how this all happens, and we came up. It's a struggle, right? That whole everything I've just told you. I mean, I'm sure if I go back to this screen, just very quickly in the comments, if you guys have access to the comments, I'm not sure, put in what does this make you feel like when I say compliance and seeing all these things. Try and say it in one word. I don't know what's going to happen, but maybe in a couple of words. Put it in the comments. How does it make you feel like having to go through this process of compliance? I kind of know the answers already, but it'd be good to know what you guys are thinking, right? So the solution, I know you guys are interested in this. It took us 6 months to come up with this, actually a bit longer, but it was about 6 months working on a solution. And we said, because we're getting all these people sending us leads and all this stuff. And we were like, look, you need to get compliant. We need a very easy solution to have this done and above board, all in writing. It has to all be good. So what did I do? I called everyone myself. I did it myself. Okay. I've spoken to the HMRC, the AMLS team. I've got direct contacts with them. The ICO, specialist insurance brokers. I spoke to multiple brokers, found the best policies. Obviously, we had our own policies that we were running, but now I've actually found even better policies that works. That was a bit of a process. The redress schemes, we've got connections now, direct connections with the redress schemes, relevant training bodies to keep your training up to date with certification and legals. And we have finally come up with a solution that actually works. It's amazing. It's just so good. And this is how it works. Okay. You register on our site and you pay for the service. Come to that in a minute. You fill out one 20-minute form. In reality, it's not going to take you 20 minutes. Okay. You're going to be quicker. I'm just saying, if you're having a cup of tea and you're leisurely doing this, it's going to take you about 20 minutes to fill it out. Okay. And we are on hand to support you. It's not, if you get stuck, we're always going to be here to support you through that form. We will complete all those other forms for you automatically. Right? Is this a game changer? We are going to do all of that stuff for you. And you've only had to fill out one form. Okay, you then have to follow our guide to completing the training and the documents. We will know when you've done your training, because we will see you've completed your training, and we will need to see the documents. You just have to fill in your parts of the section on all the template documents that we've given you, amend it if you have to, ask us questions if you have to, and send that back to us so we can confirm it. We will then, on your behalf, register you for the AMLS with their HMRC. And this is the longest bit, guys. I'll be completely honest with you. It can take up to, and I've tried my absolute best to try and get this quicker, but it can be up to 45 days. It's not, in reality, it's not 45 days, but they say it can take up to 45 days. to get a response on if you've been accepted. Okay, so now this brings up 2 points. One, you can be rejected. The chances are pretty slim if you're doing it through us that you'll get rejected. If you're doing it yourself and you don't know the process, there is a chance you can get rejected for this, and you've just lost this, and you've lost your fee and a lot of time. And secondly, there are some other companies out there, various companies that say you can get compliant with the HMRC within a matter of days, sometimes hours. I'm going to tell you from my own personal conversations and emails, it's impossible to do that, because your business name has to be registered under your company name on the register with the HMRC. And that has a lead time of 45 days. There's no way around it. Okay. So this is the only way it can happen. If anyone tells you anything otherwise, as it currently stands, that's the only way to do it. And I confirmed that last week. So we will do that entire process for you, get the confirmation. At that point, you are a fully compliant deal sourcer in your own name. You can go out, deal source professionally with the name as a deal sourcer, or as a deal maker, to anyone, not just with us. But let me tell you something. This is the point of this whole thing. And what you've done here essentially is just short-circuited the process of becoming compliant. Okay, you're not turning a blind eye to anything. You're still gonna have to do some work. There's no way around it. You've got to fill out a form. You've got to fill out some paperwork. But you've gone down from potentially hundreds of hours down to just minutes. And this is crazy. I was speaking to someone last week, and she said, I've been doing my compliance for 3 months. And I was like, well, 3 months? You can't spend that long on that's not required. You don't need to do that. If you're being told that you've got 10, 20 hours of training to do, it's wrong. It's just plain wrong. Okay. And I've confirmed all of this. We've been through this entire process. So you're short-circuiting the process. You're removing all the admin and the headache, and you're just doing the bits that you need legally and keeping up to date with all this stuff. And the question, and the reason why I said this right at the start, why have we done this? Because we are a company that sells deals, right? SiteFinder is a marketplace for selling deals. We work with deal sources and investors and sell their deals to each other, right? And then we pay the deal sources. We pay the deal sources 50% of the income that we make, which is generally a minimum of £2,500. We make £5,000 a minimum, and we pay £2,500 to our deal sources. Okay. The thing is, we have too many investors and not enough deals. Okay. So, and which is crazy if you think about it, because we're getting like 6 to 10 deals a day, or leads and deals a day. And what's happening is that deal sources, or we should just call them introducers for now, are calling us and saying, for example, they're saying, I've got this deal. It's great. I've stacked it. It looks amazing. It's in the right area. They've gone through the entire process of stacking and getting this deal ready to be sold on. They've made the deal packs and all of this stuff. So they've done something, but they're not compliant. So they haven't quite done the right thing. And unfortunately, as a company, we can't do anything with that. I can't work with you if you're not compliant and you've done that entire process. No one can. I could have worked with you, with that particular person, if they had said, this guy James has got a property for sale, and can you call him and try and negotiate, right? So that makes sense. But all of these other people who are actually working as deal sources and actually want to do things, they are struggling to actually go through the process of becoming, they want to be compliant and do this properly, but they just don't want to go through the hassle of it. So we're thinking, okay, well, we need to remove this barrier of entry into deal sourcing. How can we do that? How can we help you guys do that? Because the end goal of this is to sell deals to investors. Actually, to be honest, the end goal of this is to sell deals with us. I want you to be selling deals through us, because every time you sell a deal through us, you make money and we make money, and it just churns really quickly. So we sat down, and with the partners, I sat down with Reshma and Hanif and all the other guys, and we said, okay, let's just see who's making money, who's actually doing 3, 4, 5 deals a month with us, and who's not. Like, what's actually going on here? And it wasn't surprising, I suppose. It was just clearer to see once we had seen a graph that the guys who are compliant, everyone who was compliant were the ones who were doing multiple deals quicker because they were giving us better quality deals. And that just makes sense, right? That makes sense because if you don't invest in yourself, you invest in your business, you're not really going to have an incentive to do anything, because in its most basic form, if you pay something, you, in the back of your mind, you're like, I need to at least make that money back. At the very minimum, I need to make that money back by whatever I've invested in. Okay. Obviously, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to make a lot of money. We're trying to sell multiple deals every month. But so that mentality is going to force yourself to get into the game, get your heads really into it, all in, energy all in to getting deals sold or stacking deals and doing everything without the worry, oh, I'm not sure if I can do this, I'm not compliant, should I be doing this, should I not be doing it, what if I get... You don't want to be thinking about that. You want to be thinking about selling deals and making money, and buying deals, buying properties. A good friend, Emad, says, I don't know if he's on the call today, but he says what he does, he's got a really good strategy. He sells 4 deals, then buys one. Sells 4 deals, buys one. Sells 4 deals, buys one. Because the money he makes from selling deals gives him enough to buy a deposit to buy 1 or more properties. It's a great idea. And so, guys, I just want you to understand the whole point of us wanting you to become compliant, especially through our process, is because actually we want you to sell deals with us, and we want you to be more invested in yourself, and really dig in. And the way to do that is to help you guys is to create a quick and easy system. You don't need to think too much about the stuff you don't need to think about. You need to think about the stuff you have to do, definitely, but use your energy correctly. And that's why we've built this, it's to sell deals. Yeah. So here we go. What have we done? It's called Be Compliant. The company is called Become Compliant. And this is what it's going to cost you to become compliant yourself. Okay, you can take a screenshot, or you're going to get copies of this anyway. But that is the minimum you need to do yourself. You need to get the documents and everything done. You can either spend probably the best part of 3 to 6 months writing them yourself and then checking if they're right with a solicitor, or you get a solicitor to write them, about 800 quid or something. And everything else, there's just no way about it. That's just what it costs. I said to business partners, I was like, okay, once they're compliant, remember that the goal of this is to start making money through selling deals. We need to get them going. We need to get them quickly going with all this stuff. So let's give them some tools that we use on a day-to-day life when we're buying deals. So we've got head of terms. We're going to add in option agreements, the NDA, confidentiality agreements. You can use this stuff. This is all legal paperwork that we've spent a lot of money on, and we're going to give it to you along with a bunch of calculators, so you can very quickly start stacking deals and moving the process, starting the process of moving. And on top of that, we are going to make sure that you are actually doing something. Okay, there's no point in you just doing something and sitting back. There's no benefit for us for you to do that. Okay, we want you guys to be selling deals with us. That's what we want. So we decided we'll do accountability. It's just on the bottom there. You can see that accountability and deal clinic calls twice monthly, to make sure that you are on the right track. And this is specifically about selling deals with SiteFinder. It's not, I know you guys have got deal clinics with Property Filter. It's not the same thing. This is specifically with SiteFinder. Okay. And we'll talk through the deals. We'll make sure your compliance stuff is up to date, and we will make you accountable. Okay. And I know that scares some people, but in reality, when you're made accountable, you will get on with it. You will absolutely get on with it, because we will want to see, what have you done? What did you do a couple of weeks ago? And if you've done nothing, I'm going to tell you to do something. Just having someone to push you like that will make the difference. Just believe me. So the value is over £5,000. And that, I think that's fair. So if you wanted to go and do it yourself, at minimum £2,000, right? How much are we going to charge? Just under £2,000. Okay. But look at all this stuff, extra stuff you're getting. It's almost a no-brainer deal here. And that made me think, I spoke to Gilliam, I spoke to Hanif, spoke to all these guys. I was like, okay, look, we're launching this product. We actually want this to be a no-brainer deal. This has to be like, I don't need to think about this. This is the solution. It's done. So what can we do? And we did this because at the end of the day, guys, I'm going to say it again. Sorry, I'm going to just repeat this one more time. Compliance is one part of this whole thing. The real part of it is where you make money. Yeah, you've got to spend a bit of money here, but we're trying to make you money. So we said, okay, look, let's just, as a launch, we're going to scrap this 1,997. And for anyone, and I think that's everyone here, who's actually active action takers, I know you guys here because you're here on a Thursday. We want to work with you now. Like, we want to work with you straight away. We want more deals for our investors. We've got too many investors and not enough good quality deals. So we have done this, and this can only be for the next 24 hours. Okay. And I'm going to explain how you do this in a second. Use the code PF10. I'll show you in a second. But this can only be for the next 24 hours because this video is eventually going to go out to everyone on the network. Yeah, on the Property Filter network. And we can't have everyone taking this offer. It's only for people who are invested their time, invested their energy. You guys are here. You should get something for it. 24 hours at the end of Friday. This is just not going to work. Anyone who tries to subscribe after this is going to be just £2,000. You guys can do it for just over 1,700. Okay, so this, like, it's for just over £1,700. This is, I can't really see how this can be any better. It is just a no-brainer deal. You can get compliant with 20 minutes or so of your time, and it's cheaper than doing it yourself. Yeah. So this is the solution we wanted to make, and then get you back on to selling deals quickly. And this is how you do it, guys. Okay. So you scan that QR code, or you go to the website. The company where we've put the compliance bit in is called Become Compliant. Okay. So make sure you go there, but /property filter, because that will allow you to get that discount code. Or you just scan that QR code and you go to the checkout and you put in PF10, stands for property filter, PF10. And it will knock off that 200 quid until the end of Friday. All right. So look, the point of this whole thing was to provide you guys with a solution. I know compliance is a bit, for some people, scary. I had someone say they spoke to a lady a couple of weeks ago, was so excited about deal sourcing. After speaking to the lady, she's not going to deal source anymore because she's scared out of her pants. And I was like, that's really unfair. That's not, you can't, this is not a scary process. It's an admin hungry, long-winded process. Absolutely. And you have to make sure you've got stuff in the right order. But we had to build a solution because there was no solution for this. And now we've got it. And like I said again, I'm going to say one more time, the end goal is to be making money. You've invested in yourself. It's not a cost. It's an investment in yourself. You have to do it. It's law if you want to be doing this. And now we have the solution. You can. And the thing is, just before I go to the Q&A, with tools like Property Filter, right? You've got Property Filter. I mean, this is insane when you think about this. Now, in today's day and age, there's no reason why you guys are not making so much money from property just by selling. I'm not even talking about buying it yourself, by investing in yourself, investing in deals. I'm talking about just by selling deals, because now you have educators like Hanif, for example, right? Hanif Khan or Simon or Sam. You've got educators ready to teach you everything. You've now got a company getting you compliant. You've got Property Filter where you can find and make your deals. And now you've got Site Finder where you can sell your deals. Like, you're almost doing nothing apart from the fun bit, which is talking to the sellers, viewing properties. That's the fun bit. Yeah. You're negotiating. That's the bit you want to do. And that's the bit you should be concentrating on, in my opinion. All this admin stuff, just leave it to people who are better. Right.
Okay.
That's, I hope
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, that was great for me to watch you today, and then thanks a lot, yeah, for reminding, because a lot of, I talk about myself years and years ago. We became compliant on our own,
Yeah.
We ran the compliant book and things, and then it took us 3 months, and it was a headache. And by the end of it, I didn't want to hear about sourcing anymore. So we went on to do our own HMOs and things, and work with investors. So I wish, yeah, we had something like that. So, but there'll be a lot of questions here. So,
Yeah.
Irene is saying, is asking, so Adi, I'm not sure, I don't really understand the question, so let me know if it's a question. Irene's asking, so based on what you're saying, would it, so do we need to be compliant to work with SiteFinder? And I think the
Okay.
question behind it is sort of, was there at some point a co-sourcing solution, and how does that work
Yeah.
now?
Okay. Good question. Sorry. So the answer to that is yes, you can sign up with SiteFinder and sell your deals. Sorry, I've got someone. Goodness me. Sorry, get in 1 second.
Yeah.
Is that coming through on the screen?
No. You got a deal to complete today. Or...
Something is happened to my screen. That's really quite annoying.
No. I can see you just fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
All good.
Okay. You can
Yeah.
hear me. Okay.
Yeah. All good.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
good. Okay. I don't know what's happened to my screen there. Okay. So the answer to your question, right. Yes, really good question, actually. So when we started SiteFinder, it was there was two parts of the business. One, you can just send us just leads, and we will handle that. We will go and talk to the investor and deal source. We'll talk to the vendor, sorry, and we'll find the investor because that's what we do anyway.
Yeah.
And
And
we will
I
do
know
that in time.
you've done this for me a few times.
Yeah, exactly. And you could just pass leads on, absolutely fine. The problem is when we sat down to do that, who's actually making money and where's our time being spent? A lot of bandwidth was going on negotiating with the vendor directly. Okay,
Which I'm very grateful you did for me. Thank you so much.
okay, that's good. And yes, as it currently stands, we can still do that, but in the coming weeks, we are going to have to drop that part of the business because we have to do what makes money for you guys and what makes money for us. That's just business, okay? And that money is coming from deal sources, actually giving us good quality deals. Our energy can be spent on selling those deals, and then you're getting paid quicker.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's
So
interesting.
in short, I'd say actually no, you won't be able to pass leads on in the very near future, and no one. It just the amount of effort required to do that wasn't showing the returns. So hope that
You know,
answers.
when you said about you plotted the who's making money on the platform with you, like, and you had the compliance sourcer. Can you give some numbers to illustrate, like typically the compliance sources with you are selling a deal a week, you know, and then compared to people
Yeah,
not really selling anything, what's the...
yeah, absolutely. So the compliant deal sources, no, there's a huge range, right? We've got,
Yeah, I'm sure.
yeah. So, but I would say some of our best performers at the moment are doing about 4 to 6 deals a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when you think about it, then I can't tell you their figures because I don't know them off the top of my head, but then the minimum fee these guys are earning, and most likely they are earning this, is £2,500. So you can work that out yourself. It's a lot of money. It's replacing people's jobs, and they're just selling. If you don't need to do that much in reality, you only need to do 2 or 3. But my point earlier is that with all these tools, how we're all combined together with Property Filter and SiteFinder and all this stuff, it's just making it a lot easier to get to this reality of selling deals.
Okay, awesome. Jill and Gordon asking a really good question. So if we operate within a limited company, is it the company that is registered, or is it the individual directors involved in the sourcing or people involved in the sourcing?
Compliance? Yeah, okay, good question. So the company is what gets registered, and everyone inside that company, known as responsible people, that's a technical term, a responsible person, you have to register everyone who's within the company who is responsible. Okay, so then they are the ones who have to undergo the training and have to be up to date. And that could be just you. It could be just you. If you have a team of 10 people, it will most likely be 3 or 4 of them who are dealing with the money. Anyone who's dealing with any part of money or negotiation or any part of that process of dealing with a sale or purchase, a sale, sorry, would have to be going through the extended parts of training and understand the policies and procedures and documents, and they're the ones that when it comes down to it, I think the question actually here is when it comes down to it, when the HMRC ask you, the responsible person, the one lead responsible person, is the one that they're going to ask the questions to. Okay, so they will, for example, they will ask you, do all of your staff know how to report suspicious activity, and show me where you've written that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the procedure. And on that, I've got a question actually. So when you say, but I think you clarified, you say it takes 20 minutes, because I was like, here we go again, because as you said, that you clarified after, is like people promise you'll be compliant in 2 days, and because of the HMRC thing. So can you clarify then? Basically, it's 20 minutes to register to start the process, and it's maybe like the most admin part of the application, and then after is you receive some links to sit through some trainings and get some
Yes.
CPDs, and how does
Yes.
that work?
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. So there's three parts, I suppose. One is filling out that form, which will take you 20 minutes. That is the most admin hungry part of the whole job, because
Hmm.
that form will allow us, well, it will let all the other things happen. Okay. And you know what? There may be things where we have to come back to you and say, no, hold on, we need a bit more information here. Hopefully there won't be, because the form's quite detailed.
Hmm.
And then it could take a bit more time then. But in reality, if you're filling out the form, it's a maximum 20-minute time form. That's the and then you will get links to your training, which, okay, I know there are training companies out there that say you need to do at least 10 hours of our training, those companies training. I can tell you that's not needed. We have worked closely with a company to bring the training down to just 2 hours. Okay, so it's a 2 hour
Okay.
training. Okay, cool. That's like one evening of Netflix and chill, maybe. And so one evening you need to get through that, done. And you're learning. Yeah, you should be interested in this, because you are
Yeah.
learning about compliance. It's important you know about the compliance side of things. And then
Hmm.
after the training, you've got the documents which are templated for our industry specifically. Okay, so most of it is done. You've got to put your details in certain places. We just can't do that for you at this stage. We are working on that solution, but you've just got to put a few basic details in and review it. You just have to read it.
Hmm.
Okay, not overly complicated. So I would say if you're going to include the training in it, you got 2 hours, 2.5 hours in.
Hmm. Okay, no, that's great. Have whilst because I before I continue with the questions, I actually need to share my screen. I forgot about this, but I wanted to
Oh,
share with everyone actually a
so I
step.
stop sharing.
Yeah, it's just gonna work. So
Okay.
so just so you guys know, as part of this call and preparation for this call, we've also been working behind the scenes so that as a yearly Props Filter member, you got access to the package deals over here. So there's a new icon that will have appeared over here. And this is straight, basically giving you the early access on the site finder deals straight back inside Props Filter. So that means two things. So one is as
We can't see your screen.
Yeah, I was going
you
to say I
can't see
can't see
my
your
screen.
screen, buddy.
All right,
I think I need to stop mine. 1 second.
maybe let's have a look again. That kills a little bit the old surprise, isn't it? So can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. I was showing you this thing over here that says package deals. And so now as a yearly Props Filter member, you got early access and access to the site finder deals over here. And that means that basically you get ready-made deals, so you can go and have a look at the details over here, all the stuff the guys have prepared for you straight back into Props Filter. So that means two things. One is you actually, as an investor, can find package deals from reputable sources with the stamp of trust, I have in Finder. And then what it also means as a sourcer is that now your deals are seen by 400 plus yearly members, so that are actively, here to buy some deals. So yeah, I just wanted to throw this in before I forgot, and then we run out of time on the call. And if you want to share your screen again, and I'll continue with the question. So you'll be free to have a play with it, and as we continue with this, we'll just create more and more integration. So there's more and more, it's more and more seamless between the two platforms. So because it really, as you said earlier, it really links. You find the deals, you sell the deals, you find the deals, you sell the deals. So it's
Yeah.
all in one place here. So yeah, really pleased with that.
Yeah, that's good. That's going to be a really good one. Yeah.
So M. Campbell is asking, what happens if you've already started the process? That person already has
Yeah.
ICO and AML.
As it currently stands, and we will work on a solution for this, but as it currently stands, we can't continue your process for you, because we need to know that you've done it correctly through our systems. Okay, we will have a solution for that in the near future, so just keep in touch. And I'm talking a few weeks. Okay, but yeah, as it currently stands, the answer is no. I'm sorry, and I know you started the process. I'd just say plow on and just unless you can wait a couple of weeks.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Eric's asking, I think the question is, having an holiday-led property management, can we mix property management and sourcing? And he's concerned about adding another SIC code that brings a bit of a mess and steer things up with his current operation. So yeah, about IML registration over here, and will the registration with IML lead to more HMRC scrutiny because the company has had some activity before, some trading history, and an unnecessary complication to expand the business?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's a really good question. So let me just answer that AML part first. Right, the way it works, there's no ways about this, okay? You have to be compliant to do what you're doing. And if you've already started activities, you know, okay, let me give an example. If you started trading and you did nothing for a year, you made money in a year, and then you got compliant at the end of the year, okay? And 6 months later, the HMRC give you a call and say, okay, cool, you've been earning money. Let me see what's happened. They're going to fine you from the start of your trading, okay? But it's going to stop at the point as to where you became compliant. If you don't ever become compliant, it's like a never-ending fee. They're going to just keep charging you from when you first started trading. So you're better to just get it done and just get it done. It's just one of those things. It does surprise me a little bit how people don't know this. I'm not saying this is your fault. It's not very well documented anywhere, really. And you know, it's an issue which
I think it's been gray for a long time.
Absolutely. And they're making it less gray for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And you actually reaching out to all of these you know, government bodies and so on, you kind of know now. Okay. That's very interesting.
Guys, sorry, just to jump in quickly before we move on to the next one, is I think just to simplify everything. Hi everyone as well. So what we're trying to do is what we've created here is we've seen that it's such a blocker, like Hav was saying, and as an entry blocker into sourcing and getting on with it, which we all want to just sell deals. We all just want to get on with doing that. So what this become compliant product allows you to do is all that time invested, the hassle, the stress, not knowing where to start, comparing insurance products. We've done all of that. So we spent the last 6 months buying all these products in bulk. Okay, speaking to all the providers, buying all the things, and essentially bringing it all down into that 20-minute form that Hav was talking about. So it's not just, if you don't mind going back to that slide, Hav, just to be crystal clear on this.
Yeah. Which one
so
was it?
Rather than you filling out, and Hav, correct me if I'm wrong, because he's the one who's been doing all the hard work behind the scenes. So
which one was it? I think it's this one.
The process slide, which no, sorry, I think it's more towards the end, isn't it? Where it's the 20-minute form.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So rather than having to fill out various different forms, you fill out one form that we can then fill out those multiple things on your behalf, but they've already been bought in bulk, if that makes sense. So that's why we can do this. Is you're not under our umbrella, you're not just training with us, that you are getting independently compliant. So you can do this on your own, or you could do it with us. But really, it's taking away all the stress, confusion. I think we got a couple of people said the overwhelmingness, but it is overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me. So yeah,
that's really
really
interesting. So can you expand maybe? Is there something different in what you're offering? You say like you will not be under our umbrella or something like that. So what's the, because typically what would happen, you know, is it like some type of a co-sourcing type setup and people are exposed, or what's the thing?
Yeah, don't have this one for you.
Yeah, no. So you are registered as your own business as an independent deal sourcer. Okay. The policies we have got is they are designed to be done in your name.
Mhm.
With you will be named on everything, absolutely everything. And that was the important thing for us. We don't want you guys, at the end of the day, you guys are here to make money. You can't just be limited to selling stuff with SiteFinder. You should be selling stuff with everyone. Our incentive is to sell deals with SiteFinder, for you guys to sell deals with SiteFinder. That's our incentive. Not to be stuck with another company.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And
Because
then,
we're
fair
not
play
here
to
to out other companies, but the other products that are out there, either you have to pay thousands to train and then go and get compliant yourself, and spend more money doing it that way. Or the other alternative that's out there is that you become compliant under somebody else's umbrella, which means you're having to always work underneath their company name. So we've kind of recognized those flaws and created a product that allows you to become independently compliant. So you're not having to work under someone else's umbrella, and you're not just training. I think someone asked a question about training. This is not a training course we're giving you. It's a quick solution to all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, training is part of it. Let me just be clear about that though. We are going to give you training, but we are not a training company. We've partnered with specialist training companies. Okay. And you have to by law have training. So you will be trained. Like I said, we've got that down to just 2 hours. You take as long as you want to do it, and you'll get a certificate at the end. Yeah.
Is it like an agent type certification?
Sorry, an agent?
Like an agent? Is it like from an agent body? Is it?
Yeah, it's recognized by the CPD. So that's what the HMRC want to see.
Okay.
And that's the governing body. Yeah.
Okay. Izir is asking, submitting deals to SiteFinder, do we have to be off market?
Yeah, it's a question we get almost every couple hours.
But I think you have to secure the deal direct to vendor. It doesn't have to be. Yeah.
Correct. You need to have some security.
Yeah. Hence, you are giving the templates for the heads of terms and stuff like that.
Yes.
Great comment here from Christine. So is it VAT included or plus VAT, the prices you had on?
No, this is all in. This is all in.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. This is like, we've got it to the stage where it's just a
So
no-brainer.
I don't know how you make it work, because it's
I know.
it's
Magic.
it's cheaper than if I had to do it myself, right? So
trust me,
fair play to you
6
guys,
months of work, it's not, and you can,
When he says 6 months, he means every day for the last 6 months and 3 months of sleepless nights as well.
And 12 years of deal brokering, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Richard saying, does everyone who is involved in the sourcing business need to have? So can you clarify again the compliance? The business is compliant, the individual working for the business, or do they operate within the compliant business?
Okay, so the company is compliant. You have to have a business or a company, so you have to register the company. Okay, that's something you should do. You have to have a company. The company is what gets registered on these policy documents. You guys are under the company as employees or as directors are responsible for everything that happens. Does that make sense? Is that what the question was?
Yeah, it's what executive position.
You have to buy a limited company.
Yeah, you can't do this as a sole trader, can you?
No, not now. You used to be able to, but actually, I think it's changed now. You have to be a company, and I always recommend that anyway.
In Spain, we spoke earlier.
Oh, hi, Malcolm.
Hi. Yeah, sadly, I mean, Spain's in mourning at the moment with the loss of life in the flash floods in Valencia.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter. You can be based overseas and have a business in the UK. Huh? Look at this French guy.
This is the issue I'm finding. Now I'm Spanish resident. Can I buy an English? Can I buy a limited company in England?
Yeah, you go online. You create it, like 13 quid to create it, or get an accountant to set it up for you. Like yeah,
absolutely.
No problem. Yeah. So the whole thing of setting up company is like really, it's really the simple part, and it doesn't matter where you're based. Yes. Someone's asking about is there a payment plan on this?
Yeah, we're working on that. Absolutely, there will be. Not yet, but there will be. I think Yeah, we're waiting on just a few more legal bits and bobs for that.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yes, there will be, but not quite yet, unfortunately. If that's a requirement, just get in touch. Get in touch with me. I think
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Is that everything by email? Have?
Yeah, email. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll pop that in. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I've just sent it in the chat for you.
Simon saying,
you.
if you are already compliant, how do we work with SiteFinder?
No, if you're compliant, I want you to quickly work with SiteFinder. I want you now, tomorrow. You just call it. No, you don't even have to call us. You just find the deals, stack them, do your thing, upload them to the platform. And if you haven't registered, I will quickly put in the comments the link to register.
Okay.
Yeah, prior to uploading your deal to SiteFinder, in a nutshell, all you need to do is secure it and stack it, and then you upload it for us to sell and do the rest of the procedure for you. And that's what all the paperwork that we're going to send you as part of this is for, to helping you to secure it and stack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just conscious I want to go through the questions as much as possible. There's so I had a DM here about again, so is there an additional cost for having multiple people compliant within the company? It's not how this works, isn't it? It's like an agency. The agency is compliant, and they have employees, and then there's an executive structure where the directors are responsible. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
A very, very good question. So because you hinted some time ago about a proof of fund product, I know you've put a lot into this already.
Yes.
And you've sort of teased people with a proof of fund product. So what's happening with that? Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, I can tell you. It's started, okay, but like everything, things have to be done correctly. And where I'm doing business development, that's mostly my job. This was just something I had to concentrate on because we needed it to be solved. The next thing is proof of funds. It's a matter of weeks. Don't worry.
I'll book you in the next Deal Finder Corner in 2 weeks.
Yeah, cool. Accountability. See,
I think this is the only thing that gets you guys launch stuff, right? I come and speak to the property filter community, right?
Yeah.
So just on that, so can you explain, like to further maybe tease people a bit? So the big challenge people have when they're sourcing is they are not sourcing for themselves, and agents wants to see proof of fund to get things progressed. And basically, you've designed a product which will help people to access latest proof of funds. You'll be sending emails to agents, basically, to say like, this is my proof of fund on behalf of other people, so it looks super serious. Can you tell a bit more about it?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. So
okay,
we'll go through a few checks. Yeah, good. It's like the product. You will go through a few checks. We just talk about what you need and is it a deal, and you can use our proof of funds as we are going to buy it. Because the agent doesn't really care, in all honesty. They just want to know that someone can buy it. And if it's a good deal, we will buy it, or we will have an investor that buys it. And we'll be very open and honest about that to the agent. All they care about is that there is someone that will potentially buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just the way you word it. It's more important that you have a better connection with that estate agent. That's much more important. But you can't just go and chuck this thing at a brand new agent. They're just going to say, no, I don't know you. I don't trust you. I don't know who you are. And I'm telling you this from firsthand experience. 11 years, I've been an estate agent. Okay. 10 of those years, I was just selling normal residential deals. Investors were coming to me saying, I want these deals. I want these properties. And those few investors that I really connected with, who put the effort in, were the ones getting all those deals that I didn't even understand what they were at the time. But they built that connection slowly over time, over a few weeks and months. Yeah.
So when you explain this to me, I find it really interesting. So because the system will basically email the agent as a follow-up to someone's offer. Yeah. With like some proper credentials, a brand, and the latest proof of fund from this week,
Yes, correct.
So it's not the proof of fund from 6 months ago.
No.
And it's legit, it's in the bank and all that.
Absolutely. It's all going to be above board. We have to just get that bit, make sure it's clean. Yeah. So I'm not going to rush into anything ever. I've never done it that way. I would rather get it, make sure everything is good and tight, and then we can release it properly. Yeah.
Question around how does the compliance last? So this is renewed every year, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to renew your compliance every year. And the thing is, with that, you will always get updated policies. So if when the HMRC update their policies, we will update them and then send you the new documents.
Okay, you might have to sit through another training next year and another training.
Yeah, you will have to. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, no, that sounds really watertight actually. Compliant elsewhere, can I work with SiteFinder? I think you can.
Yes.
Sorry, Maria. Yeah, I didn't share my screen, didn't I? So I think we're all good now. Great. Trevor. Yeah, we talked about this. If you have a limited company that has done no business, and then becoming compliant should be the first thing to do. I think that's more of a comment.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Whoever said that, yeah.
Is the code from the property filter intensive weekend still valid? I don't remember. Was there a code?
68310, I think. Yeah.
What's that?
I think it's 68310. That's a SIC code.
The SIC code. Yeah, sorry.
SIC code, yeah. Is that what you're asking? Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Probably. It's like with a code like
is
this.
Is it the discount code?
No,
John?
no.
Yes,
No,
yes,
I
it
think...
is. Yes, it's discount code I was referring to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
Discount code to what? Sorry.
1 second.
For the
One second,
property filter, guys, go to the end slide. I think have it's on there. Yeah, there you go.
I didn't remember you shared a discount code.
Yeah, it was a different code you gave a couple of weeks ago, and I wondered if I think that's probably a different amount.
It will give you the same discount.
Okay,
Is it?
I've got Eric with a hands up, and I think
thank you.
Trevor as well. I'll go through the questions. If you want to just put your questions down, Eric and Trevor, and then I'll come to you in sequence, and I might unmute you, no problem. Richard, do you have to have a SIC code? Yeah, so that's answer the question. What the renewal cost will be? It's a very good question. So you said this is a launch sort of price. Is it then locked in every year at this cheaper than cost to build cost?
We can't continue it, and that's why I've had to put the time limit on it. We can't continue doing it at this price because it is it's hitting limits for us. But saying that, by next year, we will work something else out. Yeah, there may be other incentives, or at the time maybe we can get better products at that time. So if you want a straight answer, the answer is no. The answer will be the fee will be the £2,000, but it may be that we can bring that down anyway. Because we've bought a lot of policies, with all these guys, a lot. So as economies of scale, naturally, the more you buy, the cheaper everything gets. So as we're going to be buying more and more, stuff will naturally get cheaper. So we will just pass those savings on. Yeah.
Okay. Good comments here. Just put the SIC code you need after you are compliant, and people say yes, you can have up to 4. So that's great. So Glenn DM'd me. I completed mine in anticipated a couple of. So I'm not. I think Glenn's done his compliance on his own, and he's asking if he can buy some of the documents. So probably get in touch with the guys.
Just get in touch.
Always want to help you. The intensive for them is selling the deals on the marketplace. So the more they help you, the quicker you get to some good deals on the platform. The better for everyone. So I know they're quite helpful to.
And just on that, actually, the couple of people that said previously, we've done a few bits and bobs at ICO and PRS, send me an email, because if there's enough of you, then we can work something out. Yeah, we will try and work something.
I'll move to Eric, and after we'll go to Trevor, if that's okay. Eric, you got your hand up. I'm not sure what you...
Yeah, thanks, Gideon. Sorry, I'm driving, so I couldn't type in the chat. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Right, sorry.
Thanks, Hav. Great presentation. I had a couple of questions. I think one's been touched on already. One is the fact that you mentioned if someone had opened up a limited company with a couple of SIC codes because they were looking to purchase property or do rent to rent, then thought, oh, actually, I think I'm going to start deal sourcing as well, and started out with a limited company with several SIC codes, but hadn't got fully compliant 3-4 months until later. What's the situation now with HMRC? I think you alluded to it slightly earlier, but can you clarify exactly what the situation could be?
So if what were you doing, or what are you doing prior to starting your deal sourcing side of your business? Is it just property management and other things like that?
Just flipping property.
Flipping property. Okay.
Yeah,
So if you're
trading,
if you're
yeah.
buying yourself, yeah, you're an investor, so you're buying it yourself and selling it, right? You don't need to be compliant. So that you don't need to worry about it. It's when you start selling deals on, then at that point, when that thought goes into your head, you really need to think, okay, the first thing to do is to get compliant, and you know, then get the rest of the process going. But yeah, if you're buying properties yourself as an investor, if you're doing like lease options for yourself and you're buying yourself, you don't need to be compliant. You should really adhere to some of this, still the codes and conduct practice, but you don't need to be compliant for that. So yeah, I wouldn't worry until you start doing deal sourcing. If that's something you're going to start doing, add that code in 68310, and yeah, get through your
to
Sure. Sorry, I'm just sorry, just to be clear.
Yeah.
If the SIC code was added at the same time,
yeah,
of incorporation of that limited company.
Yes.
But
I see. No, they'll look back at it. They will look back at it, but they'll see that you
Yeah.
haven't done anything like that. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just because you've got the SIC code, that doesn't mean you've actually. I mean, you know, you could set up a company and not do anything, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, it doesn't matter you've put it. There's probably a good thing that you've put it there. In all honesty,
Because I thought earlier on you mentioned that once you log in with the AML, then HMRC will look back to see when you incorporated to when you started doing the AML and say, actually, you know, you've been, even though you might not be trading.
Yeah, they look at the trading history.
Yeah, the trading history, correct.
Mm.
Yeah, so they'll see you're not trading, you're buying, you're investing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, absolutely
Okay,
fine. I would encourage you though to get a separate company. Yeah, start a separate company for your deal sourcing business.
Yeah.
I would encourage that. You don't have to. Yeah.
Sure. No, thank you. That's great. And the second part to that question was effectively, if you've got a limited company, you've got two directors with different shareholdings. If there's one director who's got primarily significant control, are they the ones that need to be registered with the AML, or could it be the other director who's going to be the one who's active across the sales and across the deals themselves?
It could be either. Whoever's going to be registered, it can be whoever's going to be registered needs to adhere to all the training and documents. It doesn't matter which one it is, but obviously, if that person then sells the shares, or it would have to be, you'd have to change and update all this information on the HMRC. That's something you have to do every year anyway. You have to update details.
The shareholding and directorship is quite, executive directorship is quite different. So I could own 100% of the company, and Eric, you could be the director I employ. You have all the responsibilities around it, So that is just, you decide what, who is named on the thing. So the shareholding is separate. I'm not responsible for the doings of Tesla, although I have shares, like, for example, it's a similar way.
Yeah.
So what? Okay. So what?
Okay. So we can keep it very clear and specific to one particular.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We have Trevor, and then we'll wrap up. Thanks so much, Eric. Yeah. Thanks for asking the questions.
I'd already put it down in the chat anyway. I just put the SIP code down for starting up a limited company under what it's described as a real estate agency as well. Basically, the SIP code was there, what you've mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 68310. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
68310.
Yeah, that's it.
Under a description of real estate agencies.
Yes, correct.
Awesome.
You see how we come under the same brand as estate agencies? Yeah. Okay. Any more questions?
Awesome. No, that's great. Thanks so much.
You got Bruce. You got Bruce there.
Could you show the slide with the fee again? Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I missed that.
What's the question? Sorry.
If you can move around to the slides with the fee. I think this one.
This one, yeah.
I'm just typing up another question.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, go on, John. Yeah, tell us.
Okay. Or do you want to just in words since we're talking?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Okay.
Once we have you.
So I plan to set up a 3-company structure, a holding company which I will own, and 2 subsidiary companies which will be both owned wholly by the holding company. One of those subsidiaries would be the trading company that has the SIC code of 68310.
Mhm.
Is that okay to do? Is that correct?
Right. So yeah, the company which is going to come under that banner with that SIC code of trading properties, that's the one that you want to register. Was that did I get that question right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think basically what he's doing is doing what I've done, is that you have a holding company, and underneath that you have like
that's fine.
particular SPVs, and basically you're having limited companies under that. So that's what he's trying to do. I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's where the activities happen. Is it that company is the one? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just direct everyone's attention very quickly on the chat where Amira has dropped the link to next week's Deal Finder Corner. If you want to secure your place already, we're going to talk about some interesting stuff there. So the link is there. Just book your seat so you don't have to think about it. And Hav, thank you so much. Do you have a sort of a closing sentiment for us today?
A closing statement.
Closing sentiment.
Well, no,
like,
not really.
You can go deep if you want, like as much
no,
as
let's not. I think we've done enough brain dump. So look, guys, I think the most important thing here is we want you selling deals. Use all of these tools you've got in front of you to just get on with it, and just push forwards in finding deals and selling them. And actually, you know what, Gilliam? I've said this to a lot of people recently, because your slogan, you should probably trademark this before someone else does. Deals are not found, they are made. It's so true.
Yeah.
When you say it like that, it's just
I need to trademark this before everyone nicks it from me.
Yeah, exactly. I probably shouldn't have said it. But yeah, deals are not found, they are made. You can't just find deals on, and you won't be in that mentality until you're just in this game and invested in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, the truth comes out of French kids' mouth. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So thank you. Thanks so much. That was super clear. And actually, I realized I wasn't that clear myself. So that really brings a lot of clarity in this space. So
Good.
I really, really appreciate it.
Good.
And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us on today's Deal Finder Corner. In the meantime, visit propertyfilter.co.uk, log on to your Property Filter account, do more deals, find hidden deals, have an endless supply of deals, join the top 1% of the investors out there, and become a high achiever deal finder. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's Deal Finder Corner like I did, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.